Good morning, guys. Listen, I hope you guys are having a great long Labor Day weekend. I hope you guys have been enjoying yourselves. Last long weekend of summer. It hasn't been too bad of a summer. But listen, I'm on to something. When I get onto something, and when I smell, well, this time I don't really smell a rat, but my intuition's really good about things. And for a long time now, I've been talking about a deflationary spike event. Basically, what I've been talking about is the up-and-coming recession. What they call a recession that's coming. The coming recession. And, okay, we get these financial analysts out there, right? And you've heard them, the talking heads. They're talking about this recession. And they started really talking about it around the first of the year, or a little bit earlier. Even last fall, they started talking about it. And they said by 2024, we believe we will be going into a recession. The first ones of these mainstream analysts of finance. So by 2024, well, that was back around last fall. Then earlier this year, they were starting to talk about I heard them saying 2022. By 2022, we'll be going into a recession, right? And then a few months ago, they were saying by 2020, we're going to go into a recession, right? Just like a month or just not long ago. And now what they're saying is by 2019, we're going to be going into a recession. Right? Now, here's the point that I'm getting to. More and more of them are getting an agreement that this recession is coming sooner rather than later. And why? Why are they getting an agreement that the recession is coming sooner rather than later? The reason why they're getting an agreement now that the recession is coming sooner rather than later is because of what the Fed is doing with their quantitative tightening. And the Fed is showing no signs of abatement. Now, I've been talking about this for quite a long time on my channel and going into detail about this up-and-coming recession. Okay? It's not going to be a recession. It's going to be a depression. And it's going to be so severe, all of the uncoiled energy from what they call the Great Recession of 2008, all of that uncoiled energy is going to spring forth like a viper. Now, let's turn on the charts. Right here, let's get the charts open and let's turn them on. Okay, got the chart on. Okay, what are we looking at here? We're looking at Jim Rogers. Roughly a net worth of about $500 million. So he's a little bit shy of $1 billion, I think, but he's far enough along where he's probably in the club. None of these other guys that are in the club, like a lot of them probably have 5, 10 billion, 15 billion, 30 billion, whatever, right? 100 billion, all just crazy, the amount of money that they have. And you don't know how much money they have just because somebody puts their net worth online, right, or whatever. That doesn't mean that's really how much money they have. They could have a lot of hidden money that you don't know about. The same way with Jim Rogers here. He might actually have billions, but that's besides the point. I'm just speculating. Anyway, none of the others are speaking. He's been speaking for a while now, and he's been telling us when he's planning on buying gold. He says, oh, I've got lots of gold, I've got lots of silver. Well, this is true. So he's waiting for the price point that he's looking for. Gold and silver right now are moving down toward his price point, and this recession's getting ready to start. This is where my intuition comes in. I think he's the only one amongst the big players who've spilled the beans. Sort of. He hasn't really spilled the beans, but if you even say one word to a guy that is like me, and I mean, I'm like a Sherlock Holmes on this thing, and I'm saying to myself, hey, you know what? Okay, it's speculation on my part, but things are moving in the direction what he said back when all these other guys, back when silver popped to $22 or whatever, and everybody is saying, oh, we're in a gold and silver bull market again. He was saying what he's saying. He was saying, I'm waiting for $1,000 gold. And it seemed ridiculous at that point in time, $1,000 gold. Right? But I wasn't laughing. I was listening to the man. I mean, I didn't like what he was saying, but because I wanted gold and silver to go higher, but I was listening to the man. Now what's happening? It's moving in the exact direction where he knew it was going to go. He knew it was going to go there. In fact, he's given us the price point all along. The bottom price point. So now all you guys out there, you're thinking, hey, you know what? I'm going to wait for some of the, like Jim Rogers, I'm going to wait for some of this silver. It's a trap, guys. It's a trap. You ain't going to get any. And I mean, I put out a video, and I've talked about this before, you know, and I had some guys come on and say, hey, you know what? They're not going to haul the monster boxes out of my little store where I buy silver. If Jim Rogers buys all the silver and these guys buy all the silver, the monster boxes, they're not going to touch the monster boxes and stuff, you know. But what you don't realize is how the system works. They can buy all this right out from underneath you, and it's the same way. Say you go to the hardware store and you want a tub, you know. And they have the tub there, and you come back the next morning for the tub, and you see a little pink sticker on the side that says sold. Some guys come in there, and he's just basically put the thing on his credit card, and they've stuck a sticker on it, and he's waiting for delivery. They can do the same thing with silver, these big players. They can allocate that physical right from your local place where you go and you buy silver, and so the silver's still there. They might still have that monster box behind the counter or whatever at the place where you buy silver, but the problem is they've allocated it out from underneath you. It's basically sold and then it's waiting for it to be delivered to these guys. And they can scoop it all up because inventories in all of these silver places is accounted for right down to the last ounce. They know exactly how much they have, and they have it on online inventories and stuff. And these guys can scoop it all up, buy it all, instantaneously in this modern age of computer technology. And then they can wait for delivery later, which means that a truck will come out from your Brinks and basically go out to your little local store, and your Brinks truck, these guys will come out and they'll haul it all into this thing. It's gone. It's gone. So if you're waiting to get in on some of this under 1,000, that's their mark for gold. They haven't marked silver. They've just basically said, okay, we're going to buy up all the silver and all the gold once the mark goes under $1,000. It's like ready, set, go. You ever seen a race when all the racers are waiting for the starting gun? That's what these rich guys are doing. They're waiting for the starting gun, and the starting gun is $1,000. This is what my intuition is telling me, and they're not telling you. Jim Rogers is the only guy. And if any of the others had come and had told you too, then they would have made it more real for everyone, and everyone would know. We'd all know the marks and the spots, the lines in the sand, where to buy. They don't want you knowing that. They want to buy it out from under you. So best thing for us to do, if you don't have any gold, you don't have any silver in your own possession, I don't care if you guys are $1 million. If you got $1 million, right? And if you've got $800,000 in cash or whatever in the bank, right? And you think you're sitting pretty, and you got, say, $200,000 in whatever stock portfolios and stuff like that, and you got gold and silver too. Say you got $50,000 worth of gold and silver, but it's all in your portfolio. It's all in paper. So you got a paper contract here that says you own such and such and such and such, and silver and everything, and gold. You don't have any in your own possession, any physical silver or gold in your own possession. You don't have. You've got it with a vaulting. Say you do have a little bit of physical gold and silver, but you've got it stored away in a vaulting company. Honest to God, these guys, these rich guys, when this whole thing occurs, we're going to be having a derivatives meltdown at the same time. And I can't begin to tell you what this actually means, but it means that an awful lot of companies and things are going to go into default, and banks are going to go into receivership. And when banks go down, when banks start going down in the United States, they spread out their tentacles into everything that they've put their tentacles into, other companies and stuff, and they say, okay, we want everything back to us. They try to draw everything back in. It's called a margin call. It's like a massive, enormous margin calls, and they start drawing everything back in. Now, say your vaulting company, where you keep your physical gold and silver, is connected to these banks. They are just going to lock the doors to their vaulting company and say, we are not letting anybody have any of this gold and silver, because we have to basically sort it out first, because our company's going into receivership with whatever bank we're connected with, and we've got to sort everything out. And the major large players are going to be eyeing up that gold and silver that's in that vaulting company, and they are going to actually pull that all into receivership. You're not going to be able to go to the vaulting company. Even though you own your gold and your silver that's in the vaulting company, you're not going to be able to access it, or your bank account. This is what we're talking about here. Money is going to become scarce during this extreme event. And I believe personally that this whole thing has been planned for a long time. It's planned to make the rich richer and the poor poorer. And what it's going to do is, this is their plan. I'm going to lay it out for you, kind of. I'm just going to kind of really quick, I'm going to kind of lay it out the general plan for you. The general plan is, let's call it a liquidity pump to the rich people. How it works is they're playing this general wave pattern that the economy goes into of busts and boom cycles. They're playing this. Right now, they're draining the liquidity out. It's all planned. They know that it's going to cause this crushing this crushing deflationary event. And when this event comes, it's all planned with the mainstream media. Their mainstream media, they are going to scream that the sky's falling and that they need to do something about it. And they're not going to let it go on for very long. They're going to let it go on long enough so that all these rich guys out there can buy up all of the good assets at pennies on the dollar, because they're sitting on mountains of money. And right now, there's nowhere for money to go. So they're going to buy up everything, the real assets, tangible assets. They're going to buy them up at pennies on the dollar during this deflationary spike event. And then they already know what's going to happen next. What's going to happen next is the mainstream media is going to come out there and they're going to squeal, like I say. They're going to say, the sky is falling, the world's coming to an end, we have to do something, the Federal Reserve has to do something. The people call upon the Federal Reserve to do something. And what are they going to do? They're going to do the same thing as they always do. Print. Well, they don't actually print now. They just push a button. But it's the same thing. It's money creation. And as soon as they do that, everything's going to reverse. They're going to reverse directions on everything. But when they reverse directions on everything, then these bottomed out prices on gold and silver and on cryptocurrencies. By the way, I'm not really mentioning cryptocurrencies, but the same thing is going to happen to gold and silver is going to happen to cryptocurrencies during this deflationary spike event. When it's over, what's going to happen then is this explosive amount of money that they create is finally going to do the trick. It's going to start to destroy the confidence that people have in the fiat currencies. But they already know all this. This is why they are the biggest holders of cryptocurrencies on Earth. And you know when they got in? Well, they're getting in right now. But they got in the most major way when the cryptocurrencies were first starting, because this was all part of the plan. They are, honest to goodness, the middle class, they are screwing us over. They are, basically, I've never seen anything like it. It's like organized theft on a level that's unprecedented. Because your bank account, now let's go back to the guy who has the $2 million. And he has say he has $1 million. Say he's got 800,000 in cash in the bank because he believes that's the safest place to keep it. And to 200,000 in stocks and bonds and other stuff, well, like I mentioned before. So the biggest part of his assets, and this is most of the people out there, this is the biggest part of their assets, is held in cash in the bank right now. And an awful lot of people, probably your friends and your neighbors, 100% is in the bank. It's so convenient too. I mean, let's face it, you can go out, you can use your little card, and you can take money out now anywhere with your debit card. Talk about convenience. Absolute convenience. Absolute access to your money anywhere. And your money is safe in the bank. Everybody, most everybody, all your friends and neighbors, they're all in to this. They've got their money all in cash in the bank, and that's it. Well, what they're going to do is, after this deflationary spike event is over and the Fed comes to the rescue, they are basically going to start to destroy your money that's in the bank. Without taking it out of the bank, they can destroy the value of it while it sits in your bank account. If we start moving into inflation rates, I'm not going to say like Venezuela, but like Turkey's experiencing right now. They're saying like 20% per year or something like that. But actually, it's probably like 20% a month in Turkey right now. Their inflation that the people are experiencing is probably like 20% per month. We could very well be entering into a period, once this deflationary spike event ends and the Fed changes monetary policy, we could be entering into an era of inflation of 20% a month in America. That means that your dollars that you have in the bank at that particular time will be losing value at a rate of 20% per month of their purchasing power of your money. Does that sound like a good deal, guys, to lose 20% of your purchasing power each and every month? Okay? At that point in time, if you've waited that long and you sat all in cash, like your friends and neighbors are going to do, they're going to do this. They don't know anything about this program that I'm talking to you guys about right now and what I'm talking to you. Your friends and neighbors don't know anything about this. They're going to sit in cash. They're going to lose the 20% a month. There's going to come a certain point, maybe not the first month, maybe the second month, maybe it might take 3 months in, and they've lost 60% of the purchasing power of their dollars, where they're going to panic. And they're going to try to get into some asset class that's going to protect their wealth at that point in time. The real stubborn ones might wait about 8 months or something. They've lost 90% of their purchasing power. And then they're going to, absolutely, they're all going to panic, all of them. And this is going to create a cascading effect a domino effect where everybody is trying to get into something, anything. And believe me, it's happening in countries like Venezuela right now. Bitcoin price is going up massively while the bolivar is going down the hole. But what we're talking about here is a worldwide, the same effect. And so the earlier you get out and get into these other alternative asset classes, and believe me, there's not much out there as far as alternative asset classes are concerned. Now, if you were to go back, say, 15 years ago or something like that, there was really only one alternative asset class other than the banking system if you wanted to keep money, and that was gold and silver. And it was extremely pricey, by the way. It was way more expensive than it is now. So those people that turn to that alternative asset class have had their asset class handed to them on a platter. Like they've been hurt. If they bought in earlier into silver and stuff, what if they bought in at $50? Right now, they're just like, I don't ever want to touch silver again. But that's these bankers. These bankers plan to basically take the wealth from the middle class and transfer it to themselves. And this is what they're doing, and this is what they're excellent at doing. Now Jim Rogers, he's not a banker, and he's not one of the big players, But the thing is he's one of the ones that's cluing us into all of this. What's going on? He's the only one I know of that's given us a price mark. And when he gave us this price mark, when I first heard about it, it was ridiculous. But now it's not so ridiculous. We're almost there. And we're moving toward it fast. It would be about a $10 price mark on silver is what it would be. And I mean, just a couple months ago, we were like $17.50. Now we're 14. We're halfway there to where he said it's going, which would be basically $10. But my point is, if you're waiting for that $10, you're not going to get any because they're going to scoop it up when they hit the mark. 1,000 on gold, $10 on silver. They're going to scoop it all up just in one night because these guys, they're all going to want their piece of that pie. And that's why Jim Rogers is saying, I'm hoping to buy some at those prices. Listen to what people say. He says, I hope I'm smart enough to buy at those prices. I'm hoping I can get some at those prices. He said that over and over again. And if he is in with the bunch, what chance are you going to have at getting at those prices if he's hoping to get some at those prices? In other words, picture picture one hot dog and 100 sharks. And they're all waiting to feed on that one hot dog. What chance are you guys going to get? What chance are you going to have at getting a piece of that hot dog? If you reach in to grab the hot dog, you're going to be missing an arm. That's what these rich guys. So this is where we're going with all this. So we're almost ready to start the deflationary spike event. I'm waiting for it here on my channel. I'm waiting for it to begin. Because I know what it's going to do. I've positioned myself, my channel is called Financial Turmoil Explained, and this is going to be the biggest turmoil event in the history that anybody has been through. It's going to be the biggest turmoil, financial turmoil. And people are going to want to wake up. They're going to wake up at that particular time. Right now, they're watching all this goofy stuff on there, like epic fails on YouTube and stuff like that, right? People also, I'm going to tell you a second thing, and this happened during the Great Depression. People seek entertainment when there's a financial crisis. There was tremendous amount of activity at movie theaters and stuff like that during the Great Depression. People were seeking entertainment. They're seeking a laugh. They're seeking a way out because they're being downtrodden by society, by high society. And here we have this same effect again. People are going to want to know what in the heck's going on. How come their money's losing half of its value overnight? And they're losing all their wealth. And they're becoming poor right out from underneath their nose. And meanwhile, this probably the biggest thing that's allowed all this to happen is our modern high-tech internet society, where we are so well entertained with all these modern gadgets. PlayStation, what are they up to now? 3, 4, 5? I don't know. You know what I mean? And all of the cell phones and all of the new techie gear and everything. You can watch movies on the go and all this kind of stuff. Watch movies in your car and everything. People are so well entertained that they don't see what these insidious bankers have planned for us and what they're actually doing. They're robbing the money while our attention's over here. They're over there stealing the cookie jar. And it's our money. They're going to steal it all right out from under us. We can either, there's really, at this stage in the game, there's not a whole lot we can do about their insidious plans. I'm sitting here and I'm telling you about their plans. There's not a whole lot we can do other than either we can either go along and lose all of our money in the bank and become poor, or we can try to maintain some of our wealth the same way they're going to maintain their wealth. And what are they doing right now, all these rich guys? They're buying hand over fist. They're buying into things like cryptocurrencies and gold and silver, because all of the wealth is going to get transferred. This is all part of the plan. This is stage 2. See, there's 2 stages to this thing. Stage 1 is the deflationary collapse, where all of the wealth is transferred into the fiat currencies. Basically, all of these asset classes are going to seem like the most foolish thing on earth to buy Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies when this deflationary spike event hits, because prices are going to be dropping. This is what I'm expecting, prices to drop on cryptocurrencies at a certain point during a deflationary event. And prices are going to be dropping on gold and silver. And so to these people who've bought into these asset classes, you are going to get kicked. It's going to hurt. They are going to come down hard on you. But what's going to happen on the other end is these asset classes are going to be the only place to be. They're going to be the only safe haven in a storm of liquidity that's going to wash over everything. There's like $20 trillion they've already created that is not even accounted for. And they're going to create that much more. They're going to wash the system in liquidity at that point. That's the twist. That's the rub. And that's when you're going to see these prices absolutely explode in these alternative asset classes. Like, also, there's another thing. And this is a point I really want to make out to you guys, and I need to make it out really clear before I go. And this is counterparty risk. All of your stocks, your bonds, even your money that's in your bank account, everything is attached to counterparty risk. And when this massive deflationary event occurs, everybody is gonna suck in everything that they can suck out of the system in a giant margin call. It's going to be marked for market on everything. And if there's counterparty risk attached to whatever you own, unless you've got it in your hand, there's going to be greedy grubbers that's going to come out and try to take it for themselves. And so, like, if you've got your gold and silver stored with a vaulting company, like I said, or if you have it in the bank and you have it in a safety deposit box, they're just going to attach everything. They're going to take everything. And you're not going to have nothing because of the counterparty risk. Well, for physical gold and physical silver, there's like magical. It's like magical. If you've got it in your own possession, there is absolutely zero counterparty risk attached to it. You are the owner. And also, this is true for cryptocurrencies. If you have them in an offline wallet that belongs to you and it's in your possession, there's no counterparty risk attached. If you've got your cryptocurrencies stored with one of these big exchanges and the exchanges are somehow connected with a bank or whatever, you're going to see your cryptocurrencies disappear quicker than hot spit on a hot stove. Not hot spit, spit on a hot stove. I mean, let's face it, you know, you guys got to protect yourselves. This is coming. You got to protect your wealth, because what they mean to do is what I'm talking to, my audience out there, you guys are the middle class, and you guys are the target. And some of you guys got an awful lot more wealth than I've got. I mean, I'm like lower middle class, but you guys, some of you guys are almost borderline and on rich or whatever. You know, you might have a couple million. You are the target of these ultra rich guys. Now, Jim Rogers, I'll tell you what I think personally. As far as these ultra rich guys, I think he's on the lower end of their spectrum. You know, I looked up his wealth, said 300 million. There's probably a lot of hidden wealth there you're not seeing, but he's probably got maybe $1 billion, but he's just beginning to get into their circle. You know? Anyway, it's coming, guys. It's coming soon. Keep your heads down in the trenches. Here it comes. It's like a storm that's coming. I see it only being as a matter of months away myself. These other analysts, they've re-updated their positions now from 2024, like I say, down to 2022, and now 2020, and now they're saying 2019. I don't even think we got till 2019. I think it's going to, I think it's going to start this year, 2018. Pretty damn sure of that. I'd be surprised if I was wrong, and I've been preaching that for a while now. I've been talking about 2018 as the year it's going to begin. I believe it's beginning. I think we're already in the first stages of it. And I think that the Fed is exacerbating it as fast as they can. So prepare, guys. I really don't think you have much time left. Bye-bye, guys. Have a nice Labor Day. And bye. We'll see you tomorrow with the first report of the new week. Bye-bye for now.